Hi, it's Brandy Duskie. Let's go ahead and jump into Module 3, Advocating for Technological Equity. The Consortium for School Networking defines digital equity as the conditions in which individuals and communities have information technology capacity needed to participate in American society fully. And they define digital inclusion as the activities necessary to ensure that individuals have access to and use of affordable information and communication technologies. This includes reliable broadband internet service, internet enabled devices that meet their individual needs, access to digital literacy training, and the applications and online content that enable and encourage self sufficiency, participation, and collaboration. As a district sets its vision for student success, digital equity and digital inclusion must be integrated into that vision to fully realize an equitable education for all students. A digital divide is formed when there are gaps in either of those areas. As school districts work towards realizing digital equity, several key areas need to be addressed. Those include connectivity, hardware, teaching and learning, digital citizenship, and tech support. Educational equity requires that schools and districts implement systems that ensure that every student has an equal chance to achieve success. The goal of all learning with technology should be to provide all learners with access to opportunities that can lead to long-term educational success. By designing with the end goal in mind, districts and schools can establish a process that factors in the needs of students. The implications for educational technology choices lead to some clear and actionable steps that all districts and schools can take. Set minimum accessibility and equity requirements by intentionally including features that support students' needs. Also, consider how platform or application addresses and supports diverse student representation. Prioritize budget allocations for applications that serve diverse student needs. By focusing on the needs of underserved students, institutions are more likely to find technology that meets the needs of all learners. Challenge your current vendors to improve accessibility and functionality to support variable learner needs. Be specific in your ask and also ask for a timeline. Evaluate the EdTech ecosystems in your schools and districts to identify gaps in how technology is serving all students, and prioritize interoperability and integration with student information systems and single sign-on capabilities. These features ensure that students have a seamless experience as they access different technology tools. I know my district uses Clever for this. As you consider those steps, here are some additional questions to consider regarding learner variability. What languages are supported or translated? What types of common accommodations are provided? Regarding community representation, are people of different genders, races, ethnicities, cultures, and different abilities or disabilities represented? And does the platform or content perpetuate any stereotypes regarding any one of those groups? Regarding accessibility, does the software provide the user with the ability to customize their learning experience? And looking at universal design, can an instructor present instruction in different ways, such as audio, visual, and text? Can students engage with content in different ways? And can they demonstrate their mastery through different modalities? The digital, oh goodness, too many. The Digital Equity Act of 2021 aims to address the gaps for overlooked and underserved populations by promoting a diverse array of digital inclusion projects that at the state and local level. These projects can range from providing digital literacy and digital skills education to low-income populations, improving online accessibility of social services for individuals with disabilities, or more accurately measuring broadband access and adoption in rural communities. Additionally, the Digital Equity Act of 2021 established two grant programs with an annually combined $250 million to be administered by the National Telecommunications and Information Administration to promote digital equity nationwide. In another consortium for school networking resource, Stephanie King interviewed Betty Hill Garcia. She's a former teacher administrator who now works for HP as a global education technologist. She's continuing her career in education advocacy, promoting blended learning and accelerating digital equity. In the final paragraph of the interview, Hill Garcia says, policymakers, practitioners, and industry providers need to keep equity at the forefront of their practice. We can empower teachers with high-quality professional development and digital tools to work more efficiently so they can spend more time on personalized, hands-on instruction. We have a responsibility to elevate learners, especially those who are disproportionately impacted, and with the resources necessary to engage in blended learning and to gain vital skills to participate in the digital economy. In doing so, we have the potential to drive better learning outcomes and a brighter collective future. The 2017 National Education Technology Plan, the NETP, offers a good starting point to define equity in education. The plan refers to increasing access to educational opportunities to close achievement gaps and removing barriers faced by students. In the resource interview, Gray states that the AIR's extensive work with school districts nationwide, including the NATP, indicates that technology really can make a difference in learning when students have an adult, a teacher, a parent, even an aide, who understands the power of the tools and supports. She recognizes that in a way, it's like having books in the home. The mere presence of books isn't the same as having an adult or sibling to read to the student and create that interactive quality. Following that up, Garrett indicates another aspect of equity concerns what might be called voice. Are students and their families able to express their goals, their concerns, and their experiences to teachers and leaders? Equity is not just about making technology accessible, but also eliciting student and family perspectives on its use. Garcia and Lee indicate that central to an equity-centered approach to educational technology is a focus on teaching, pedagogy, and sustained relationships within the classroom. Tools and the possibilities that they may bring come secondary to the core relationships fostered in the classrooms. They go on to say that technology can be redesigned to address various systems that reproduce social inequalities and hierarchies, and even serve the interests of those who are most marginalized. Some quotes from the COP resource are included here, but she goes on to indicate that one of the biggest challenges teachers in traditional classrooms face is ensuring that their teaching meets the many varied needs of their students. Good teachers differentiate their instruction, meeting students' differing learning levels, enabling them to move at their own pace, and responding to their individual needs and questions. Successfully differentiating lessons is very challenging, particularly in large classrooms. But while teaching remotely during the pandemic, many more teachers experienced the power of technology to make that easier, and they still utilize that in their in-person interactions today. Oh, this is a much bigger than just a technology program. So when the digital divide stands in the way of obtaining a quality education, it's known as a knowledge divide. When it stands in the way of seeing your doctor, it's known as a health and wellness divide. And when it stands in the way of gaining skills and competing for jobs, it's an opportunity divide. What we're really talking about here is tech poverty, and it's a pandemic of a whole different sort. Tech poverty exists wherever people lack access to technology, training, skills, and experiences needed to thrive in the 21st century. It's a problem that knows no borders and impacts people everywhere, hurting both developed and developing economies, rural and urban communities, young kids and adult professionals, and we must commit ourselves to eliminating it. Supporting students and families, looking a little bit further into the No-No article, access is only the first part of the digital divide. This resource included an interview of different professionals, and Nicole and Patricia were hinting at an opportunity gap in their parts of the interview that relates somewhat to the preparation of our teachers. Some teachers are better prepared to offer things digitally than others. There are good ways and healthy ways to teach with technology, and then there are not so great ways to teach with technology. It's really about nurturing healthy ways to teach that can allow kids to connect and create and collaborate, and teachers to do so in a manner that they're comfortable with. The EAB discusses 4 ways to use technology to embed equity. The first is to assess how your administrative policies support or hinder institutional reform efforts. He specifically refers to registration hold policies as they've been shown to disproportionately impact racially diverse students. The second way is to use technology is to identify student behavior patterns and usage of resources to determine investments. There often isn't a one-size-fits-all approach, as interventions may impact groups in different ways. For example, in the blog, data showed that a shift to virtual advising appointments showed an overall increase in population for the whole student population, with Black students significantly increasing participation and attributing that to the safety and security they felt in the Zoom interactions, while Latinx students' engagement lagged behind the overall population, and those students identified that they didn't feel the same sense of community and connectedness in that virtual environment. The third way is to evaluate outcomes of academic interventions to improve their effectiveness. In utilizing the STARFISH program, it's a tech program used to flag academic concerns. Student retention was improved when flags were followed up with a personal connection from their instructor. Additional retention was significantly impacted when STARFISH utilized kudos to implement for celebrating small gains and small wins. The fourth way is to connect students to scholarships, high impact practices or HIPs, and leadership opportunities. Because so many barriers exist to keep students from accessing those next level opportunities, it's important to utilize technology to search for candidates who meet the eligibility criteria earlier on in their sophomore year, rather than relying on faculty identification or self nomination. That widens the net of potential candidates, and then from that pool, group and one-on-one support is available to lessen barriers in the application process. Anderson discusses 3 ways technology can help increase equity in schools. First, it enables students to access learning materials outside of school, and so students have fewer barriers when they can access not only school resources, but research and connect beyond the assigned work. The second way, it provides teachers and students with more tools to foster personalized learning. EdTech can be used as a tool for differentiation to enable more students to access to information and deeper engagement. And the third way, it gathers data that educators can use to make informed decisions. So technology can decrease the burden of analyzing multiple data sets for a cross comparison in order to target interventions for the biggest student gains. Randall's indicates that addressing digital equity requires input and commitment from everyone in education, and the research shows that students and teachers are often the solution finders. Students are resourceful, and when internet or device access is an issue in their homes, 48% of them go to school early or stay late, and that is up from 35% in 2015. 32% do homework in fast food restaurants or cafes that have internet access, and that's up from 19% in 2015. And 30% go to the public library, which is up from 24% in 2015. In addition, teachers are creating workarounds. They're putting content on USB sticks, extending due dates on homework that requires internet access, making digital homework more project-based, or not assigning digitally based homework at all, and instead reserving all online work for the school day. The Office of Educational Technology created the School Leader Digital Learning Guide to help educators consider, plan, fund, implement, maintain, and adapt learning programs that meet the unique needs and requirements of students and teachers they serve. Each section contains key considerations, questions to ask yourself as a leader, and resources to help school leaders with thinking and planning. References to technical and professional methods and resources are presented to consider and apply as appropriate in leading individual organizations in efforts to meet the needs and requirements of students and teachers. Huffman, Shaw, and Loyalist conclude as use of mobile technology and social media continues to grow, teachers in K-12 and higher education settings must be familiar to their shifting role as mentor to students and facilitator of learning. The shifting function in their classroom assessments as course foundation and design frame, and the changing opportunities of communication, manifestation, and give and take via mobile technology. Attention to the essential elements of ethics and equity via mobile technology and online education adds to teacher self-efficacy. With the rapid expansion and use of mobile technology, teachers are evolving their students' experiences and progressing both their students and their own preparation for the future. Song asserts that preserving American democracy involves ensuring that digital tools facilitate the productive and equitable exchange of information and opportunity rather than misinformation and division. However, schools can equip upcoming generations of students to rise above such division by adopting a comprehensive vision of digital citizenship that encompasses the critical competencies to discern fact from fiction, navigate relationships, and use technology to champion change. Song mentions that researchers indicate that many educators have not been formally trained on how to embed digital citizenship into instruction, but provides some considerations for meeting this need, including involving all stakeholders to communicate a renewed vision for digital citizenship, supporting districts to build better teacher competencies, and build on existing resource hubs to make digital citizenship resources widely available. The Fairfax County Public Schools have taken the responsibility of digital citizenship one step further, recognizing that it's not one person's job to teach digital citizenship, but a shared responsibility, including students, instructional staff, and parents. They further indicate that students will work with parents and teachers to learn how technology is used for learning and to advocate for their college and career goals. They'll proactively approach their use of technology with empathy, ethics, and a sense of individual, social, and civic responsibility, and they'll use technology in a safe and respectful manner, among other things. The instructional staff will work in partnership with administration and parents to quickly address inappropriate use and provide the necessary supports that ensure all students have a safe online environment in which to learn. They'll model and explicitly teach healthy, safe, responsible, and respectful use of technology. And they'll complete the required digital citizenship professional development to gain an understanding of the topics related to digital citizenship, among other things. And for parents, they're urged to work in partnership with the children's school to quickly address inappropriate use and provide the necessary support so all students have a safe online space in which to learn. They're urged to model and explicitly teach healthy, safe, responsible, and respectful use of technology. And they're further urged to complete the digital citizenship for families with teens online course to partnership with their children, leveraging the parts of the course that are appropriate for their family, among other things. Looking at the International Society for Technology in Education, ISTE, they released new standards in 2018 that focused on common misconceptions. The key focus of ISTE was redefining digital citizenship, which many people mistakenly believe to be avoiding putting personal information like credit card information online. The ISTE CEO quickly said in the interview, "That's not digital citizenship. That's online safety. Digital citizenship is using technology to solve problems, to engage respectfully with people of differing viewpoints, to make your voice heard, and to understand how to recognize fact from fiction." So the characteristics of effective leaders outlined in the new standards are equity and citizenship advocate, where leaders are using technology to increase equity, inclusion, and digital citizenship practices. The visionary planner, where leaders engage in establishing a vision, strategic plan, and ongoing evaluation cycle for transforming learning with technology. Empowering leader, where leaders create a culture where teachers and learners are empowered to use technology in innovative ways to enrich teaching and learning. The systems designer, where leaders build teams and systems to implement, sustain, and continually improve the use of technology to support learning. And the connected learner, where leaders model and promote continuous professional learning for themselves and others. And finally, Mead documents the IT forecast for the next 12 to 36 months by reviewing data that uncovered 5 themes. The themes uncovered are the role of IT, a control shift from strategic to tactical, indicating that leading IT organizations have moved into a more decision-making role by focusing on strategy versus tactics only. The great experience, anticipating a need, suggesting that you must make it easier for your customers to do business with you and for your organization to get work done. In the revenues driver's seat, IT aligned with the business units. That indicates that leading IT organizations play an integral part in developing new products and streams of revenue. Security as an investment, elevating security conversations, recognizes that finding security is a top priority for the next 12 months, and leaders are focusing on security skills development. And finally, competing for IT talent, recruitment and retention for today's workforce. quote, the great resignation has prompted companies to reevaluate recruiting strategies, and that is acutely true for education. Technology is one part of that recruitment and retention strategy, but definitely something that schools and districts need to keep in mind. Moving into the curriculum analysis, as a school psychologist, much of my role is supporting special educators and students who receive special education services. With this in mind, I chose to analyze the reading curriculum that my cooperative utilizes for specially designed instruction, what we call SDI. The Sunday system was developed in 1997 by Arlene Sunday, the first president of the Orton Gillingham Academy for Practitioners and Educators. She used her 40 years of experience with Orton Gillingham method to design an easy-to-use program for anyone seeking to help struggling readers. The Sunday system is a multisensory reading intervention program. The system contains comprehensive instructional materials for students from pre-K through 8th grade reading levels. Sunday is research-based, highly effective, and quick to implement. A key component of Sunday is that reading and spelling are taught together, making progress faster. The spelling component locks the information into long-term memory. Sunday uses a kinesthetic tactile practices of tracing and writing. The Sunday system is broken into 3 levels and in addition has a whole group component that can be utilized to identify students in need of intervention. The 3 levels are Sunday Let's Play Learn, the LPL, for pre-readers, Sunday 1 for beginning readers, and Sunday 2 for intermediate readers. And the whole group instruction model is called Sunday Essentials. All parts of the program offer structured, systematic, and multisensory lessons for students. Once students are initially assessed, the instruction is based on skill or stage rather than age or grade level. Instruction can be in a variety of formats, including one-on-one setting, small group, or whole group for the purposes of reading instruction, reading intervention, dyslexia instruction, specially designed instruction and special education, English language learners, and multi-tiered system of support or response to intervention models. The Sunday system is typically delivered manually, utilizing tangible workbooks, flashcards, etc. However, all materials are available digitally for use during distance learning or for digital delivery of SDI. When utilized manually, data is also collected manually, but may be integrated into technology for broader use. The Sunday system is both research-based and data-driven, which are the 2 most important aspects of a reading intervention program. The program uses the Orton Gillingham approach, which has a solid research-based foundation to be effective in teaching reading to students with dyslexia. The approach includes explicit, direct, sequential, systematic, and multisensory instruction. In addition, the program is data-driven. Sunday does not simply progress through lessons day after day. From the very start, students are assessed and data drives where the instruction begins. As the lessons progress, there are frequently embedded mastery checkpoints, and this component can slow the intervention if needed to the learning rate of each individual student. This is a vital component that whole group instruction in the general education classroom is not able to do for students. The instructor is responsible for collecting student data and determining when to move to the next lesson or level. Data checkpoints are built into each Sunday level so the instructor clearly understands when it is time to assess the students. Data collected is kept in the student record book provided by the Sunday system. The frequency of assessments is based on the number of lessons completed before a Sunday assessment occurs. Most often, this is after 3 consecutive lessons. The assessments are built into the lesson plan book, so there's no question of when to assess. Instructors may wish to keep a binder or spreadsheet of the ongoing data as well as to analyze the effectiveness of the program. In addition to the Sunday program data collection, teachers are not required to, but they have the ability to collect additional progress monitoring data in other formats like Dibbles, AimsWeb, FastBridge, or other systems. The Sunday system includes a media kit that includes instructional videos for teachers, music files, pronunciation guides, and printing practice pages. Additionally, as I mentioned before, the Sunday system can be implemented in a digital learning environment. However, the system itself is not what I would call technology rich. However, the Sunday system is incredibly supportive of academic and non-academic activities. As mentioned, Sunday system is explicit, direct, sequential, systematic, and multisensory in its approach to teaching reading. Students who utilize this program make significant and steady progress in their reading skills, which directly impact their academic success. Additionally, when students are more successful, confidence boosts, and the impact of that can be seen across settings. Addressing the technological inequity. So while Sunday System isn't exactly what I would call technology rich, I believe that was done purposefully. The program is marketed so that anyone can do it, as the curriculum includes prescriptive lessons that are routine based and can be delivered in their entirety in 35 minutes. The Sunday System requires training for instructors to get acquainted with the system and gain confidence in the program in order to effectively use the system and deliver intervention in the prescribed 35 minutes. Additionally, Sunday System includes instructional videos for review, and Sunday System offers flexibility for use by highly trained teachers or those with little to no formal language training. Though the curriculum has a digital component for distance learning or implementation digitally, it relies on utilizing the lessons and the teacher-student interactions to facilitate student learning and growth. It doesn't get bogged down in extra offerings that technology might provide, but it also isn't hindered by that either. Instructors need only focus on the manual and materials provided without balancing additional logins or features. When using the Sunday Essentials as a whole group lesson, those can be integrated into smartboard technology for whole group interaction. In conclusion, the relevant statement. So this assignment is relevant to my current learning by calling my attention to equity issues involving technology and digital citizenship, as well as ways to continually address concerns and move the needle in the right direction towards digital equity. Digital access isn't enough. Educational leaders need to keep equity at the forefront of their practice to empower teachers with needed high-quality professional development and appropriate digital tools. This assignment improved my understanding of digital equity with regard to the COVID-19 pandemic by calling attention to the digital divides. In the Loris document, he really illuminated it for me when he talked about the digital divides. That digital divide standing in the way of obtaining a quality education is a knowledge divide. When it's standing in the way of seeing your doctor, it's health and wellness divide. And when it stands in the way of gaining skills and competing for jobs, it's an opportunity divide. I hadn't thought about it like that. What we're really talking about is tech poverty. And though many of our small communities were insulated from the effects of the pandemic, I do still see many of those ramifications in our underserved and underrepresented populations, even in my small communities. My reflection as a special educator, I feel like I keep my equity lens on at all times as I work to advocate for students with disabilities and ensure that they have access to their educational environments. This assignment has helped me to see that my lens may have missed some areas that equity needs to be addressed. Moving forward, I'll keep the lessons on digital equity in mind when making decisions as well. And then, having experienced the COVID-19 pandemic as a school psychologist, member of the special education leadership team, and as a school board member, I was able to utilize my training and skills as a leader in a time of crisis and the trials and errors that we all went through. Utilizing knowledge gained through this assignment, with many resources capitalizing on hindsight and recognizing that we need to bolster our efforts so that the same inequities aren't experienced in the future, will be helpful in making more equitable decisions in crisis situations as I become a future leader. And then here are my references. I do want to note that I did have to update some of the references as I was able to find authors. So I changed to the author as opposed to the organization and just made some updates that way. All my references. There they are. Thank you for watching.